Boom! What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Friday to you all, and welcome to another live beer review. Today, we're gonna be taking. It's been a minute since I've done a review for these guys, but I have beer in from them in my possession right now, and I'm pretty damn excited to give it a try because, if you haven't seen before, I've done a few reviews for Imperial Oak Brewing Company. They're out of a couple locations. I know they have a place in Brookfield, which is kind of headed towards the city, and then they have a location over in Willow Springs, which I think is a little bit farther away than their Brookfield location from me. But they do a lot. Their specialty is a lot of barrel aging. They love playing around with barrel aging when it comes to barrel aging sours, barrel aging stouts, you name it. It's kind of their specialty. But this time we got a specific style of beer that I've always been interested in, just because it's not really something I've tried a lot of, but I like the process of it. It's a very, very interesting style when it comes to having similarities like a brown ale, sometimes like Belgian strong ales and all that kind of stuff. But this one, we got a Maibock from them called My Way or the Highway. It's a 7.3% ABV Maibock, which kind of has similarities to like I said, similarities to almost like a brown ale to a Belgian strong kind of situation. Just because it's a very German based if it's a Maibock, so a lot of German style. They're using German noble hops in there. Of course, they're using your kind of token kind of malt when it comes to like maybe Pilsner, Munich, or Vienna malt, and then they're actually using lager yeast along with it. So when you're lagering a yeast, you're doing it at a lower temperature, and I believe the yeast is actually doing its work from the bottom instead of your normal kind of yeast doing its fermentation when it's sitting at the top of the beer, kind of moving itself through. When you're lagering a beer, lower temp, and the yeast is actually sitting at the bottom doing the work and kind of creating the alcohol from the bottom. So I'm wondering if it's that kind of same process, if this one has actually been lagered or not, just because I would like to know. It's definitely something very, very interesting. So I'm excited to give this one a try. I've always been really impressed with the stuff I've had from Imperial Oak. I've had at least one of their IPAs, and some of their barrel aged stouts have been amazing. I know they have had their couple variants of their Ragnarok, but there's a couple other ones that I've gotten from them that I've been really happy with. So when it comes to breweries in the Chicagoland area, Imperial Oak is definitely one that I put on the list of you must visit. They have a cool location, cool group of people. The owner pops in chat every once in a while when he sees me doing reviews, so he's very supportive that way. So I'm always really willing to support them as well. So let's crack this thing open and see what we get on the nose. I'm maybe expecting not much of a hoppy forward kind of situation. I'm expecting some nice bready maltiness along with it. Maybe getting some of those token lager like flavors. So yeah, let's crack this thing open and see what we get on the nose with this guy. And if I remember correctly, this is actually a beer that I gave away on one of my Patreon giveaways. Yep, definitely very malty forward. A little bit of like the slightest little bit of hops coming through, but not really too predominant. Definitely bready, malty, getting a little bit of the sweetness. But yeah, it smells absolutely delicious. So I'm going to be drinking this out of my Russian River tulip glass this afternoon. Let's pour this guy and see what it's all about. I'm expecting like a nice kind of almost amber brown kind of color to it. Maybe a little bit medium to thin body, I would say. So let's see. Okay, definitely getting a little bit of like an amber almost kind of color. Definitely reminds me of colors of like a strong ale. Very, very clear, not really having any murkiness to it. But yeah, that looks absolutely delicious if I say so myself. A very, very nice kind of crystal clear amber color to it. You're seeing some bubbles, like a medium kind of bubble carbonation thing going on there. But yeah, not really much of a head on there either, which I'm surprised about. Still very, very malty up front. Getting the breadiness. Getting a little bit of hints of like caramel almost. But you're definitely getting some kind of like kind of hoppy kind of notes coming through. When it comes to using the specific malts that are used, the specific hops that are used in this kind of style of beer, when it comes to them adding in the German noble hops, it's a very, very lighter. It's a light hops. It's not really crazy when it comes to a lot of like in-your-face profiles. Of course, they like when it comes to serving temperatures with this guy, around like 45 to 55 degrees. So but some of the pairings that they kind of suggest with this kind of style of beer, of course, they're showing right here. Ham is a good option. Swiss cheese being a good cheese for it. And they're actually, for a dessert for this kind of style of beer, they're actually recommending white chocolate cheesecake, which is definitely interesting. I would love to see how those kind of flavors cohere with it. Maybe the saltiness and the sharp nuttiness of the Swiss and all that kind of stuff coming through. I would definitely like to try some of that stuff when it comes to the pairings. And then showing different commercial examples of what kind of style this is. You may see some stuff from Abita. Mad Fox Brewing Company has a Maibock, and then Smutty Nose Brewing Company has a Maibock as well. But let's look over here at Untapped and let's see if we can find a similar beer. But before we do that, let's give this thing a try finally and see what this thing's all about. So, yeah, cheers, everybody. Happy Friday to you all. Oh, yeah, definitely very bready. A very, very nice sweetness in there, which is delicious. Definitely reminds me of a sweeter brown ale. Definitely brings in characteristics of a Belgian strong. You're definitely not getting a lot of those Belgian kind of flavors, but definitely has the sweetness that kind of brings along with it. And overall, yeah, this is absolutely delicious. And plus, it kind of comes into the kind of style that's going to be coming through now with a lot of breweries coming into the fall kind of season coming up in the next month or two. So you're going to see a lot of people making Helles lagers. The Maibocks are going to start coming through when it comes to rotations at breweries. So having a nice kind of medium body, not really getting too heavy when it comes to mouthfeel. Definitely, this is very nice and effervescent, bubbly mouthfeel. I would say more of a medium body on the mouthfeel too as well. But yeah, flavors in this one are pretty damn delicious. And it looks like some of these breweries that they're showing on the similar beers list, I can very much tell that they're German breweries, so I'm not even going to try to pronounce some of these, but there are some of them that I might be able to pronounce, so we'll take a look at those mostly. But we got one here from Friendship Brewing Company, which is their Oaked Rye in My Backyard. I really like the name of that one. Let's see. It's a Maibock made with rye malt aged in American oak, malty with rye spice notes, bit of vanilla from the oak aging. Yeah, that sounds absolutely fantastic. Gives a little bit of a kind of a sweetness. Friendship Brewing Company is out of, let's see, Wentzville. Is that Missouri? No, either Montana or Missouri. I don't know what the abbreviation for that one is. I'm not the best when it comes to knowing state abbreviations, but they're showing that one as a similar beer. We got one here from Beard Engine Brewing Company called Clockwork, which is a German, it's a 7.5% more of a, I would say Bocks are definitely close to more of being a German lager, having a little bit more sweetness, but definitely this is, it's starting to get into Marzen, Helles lagers, all that kind of stuff season, which I'm pretty excited because those are delicious styles, and I know maybe you might be playing around with maybe doing some home brewing of that kind of stuff, face meat, but this one from Imperial Oak is absolutely delicious, has the right amount of sweetness. Okay, so MO is Missouri. Okay, so they're out of Missouri. So that might be something Kentucky can get his hands on now that he's in Missouri. But yeah, flavors in this one are absolutely delicious. Really like the sweetness. The breadiness is not a very, very heavy breadiness when it comes to the malt flavors. But overall, just the flavors it's nice, it's balanced, it's smooth. You kind of get a little bit of a booziness due to it being a 7.3%. The booziness is not crazy in your face, but you could definitely tell there's a little bit of an alcohol kind of flavor in it, which I do really enjoy. So when it comes to possibly finding a similar beer on Untapped, of course, you can always look at either the Elixir Maibock from Abita, the Maibock from Mad Fox, or the Maibock from Smutty Nose. You might have similar experience with those being more commercial, mainstream examples of stuff you can get your hands on to possibly have a similar experience to this. But looking at Untapped, the one I'd probably recommend, I want to recommend this Oak Rye in My Backyard one from Friendship, but with it being oak aged, it's definitely going to bring a little bit more woodsy flavors. Of course, having a little bit more of a strong kind of, maybe a little bit of booziness, more because it was aged differently. I think I'm going to probably go with this Clockwork from Beard Engine, which has the right kind of color. There's another place in Missouri as well. So Beard Engine is in Alba, Missouri. So, and that's cool. They're like a steampunk inspired kind of brewery tap room, which hopefully if Kentucky kind of watches one, kind of keeps an eye out for two of those, or he can make a weekend trip out of where you can either go to Friendship or Beard Engine, and may possibly with this kind of style of beer getting into rotation, he might be able to get his hands on this one. So I'm probably going to go with the Clockwork to be the most similar. So if you can get your hands on the Clockwork from Beard Engine, you may have a similar experience. Who knows? Oh, you're just looking up Marzahn and he's a noob. Yeah. I don't know if it really gets to your neck of the woods, Ian, when it comes to that style. I guess you could probably find German-style lager, especially like a Bock or a Maibock situation. Or like they call it like a Lentbock, I know as well. But I know you could probably find some of that stuff knowing that you're in Europe and you can get more of like the European brewed stuff. I know you can get U.S. brewed stuff over by you, but I think you're going to be able to get your hands on more of like the German, European style Maibock, which I think is going to be absolutely fantastic due to it being German-derived malts and all that kind of stuff. I think that's going to be absolutely delicious. But let's look back here on Untapped. Of course, on Untapped, it's showing this one's a 6.5% ABV, which on the can right here, it states it's a 7.3. So maybe just this is an older variant that they haven't really updated. I don't think there's a page for the 2022 variant. But so on Untapped, it's stating 6.5, but this is a 7.3. And with it being a 7.3, I still consider it in the realm of being sessionable. It's right on that threshold of like right on the fence of almost being non-sessionable due to like that 0.2% or 2.3% of almost being non-sessionable. I would say anything above a 7.5 for me is not sessionable. But let's look here. And with over 327 ratings, this one has an average rating of 3.69 out of 5, which is not bad. I'm surprised it's not higher because I actually really enjoy this one. I know I'm going to give it a pretty damn good rating because Imperial Oak has really never let me down when it comes to beers that I've tried from them. But let's look at my friends list to see if anybody on my friends list checked this one in. And of course, since my father's the one that picked this stuff up, he went over to the Brookfield Tap House and picked up these to bring home, do for the giveaway, and of course for me to do a review on. He gave this a 3.75 out of 5. Of course, the purchase location is going to be Imperial Oak Brewing, Brookfield location in parentheses. And yeah, I'm probably going to give it higher than what he did, but 3.75 I think is a pretty good average, I would say, to be around. But let's look at the global ratings and see what other people had to say. There's only 327 ratings on this, so hopefully we can get more people trying this one. Maybe they come out with it again towards the fall, maybe do another batch of it and kind of get people to start drinking this stuff. But let's look and see what the global ratings have to say about this guy. So this person checked it in, gave it a 3.75. This person checked it in, gave it a 4.25. We got a 4 here. We got a 3.75. Purchased at regular Imperial Oak, which is the Willow Springs location. Let's see what else we got. We got a 3.75. Another purchase at the Brookfield location. We got a 4.5 here. Looks like he's drank that on a Monday just because the picture says Monday Fun Day on it. This person gave it a 3.5. Said very mild, light, malty sweetness, touch of honey. Yeah, there might be honey in this one. I don't really getting honey flavors in this one, but I can definitely see maybe it adding a little bit to the sweetness. But he said it was decent, but I think it's a little better than decent. Let's see what else we got here. We got a 4.25. We got a 3.75. We got a 4. 4.5. Let's do 3 more. Another 4.5 purchased at the Brookfield location. We got a 4.25, and the last one we're going to look at here is a 3.5 out of 5. So a lot of these were either purchased in flights or got on draft and all that stuff. I'm not really seeing a bunch of like can check-ins. So a lot of these people made trips over to the brewery recently and kind of did it that way. But overall, for me personally, the flavors in this one are pretty damn delicious. I'm a fan. I'm definitely a fan of this one. I can see this being something that I can really enjoy drinking during like the fall and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so Marzahn's Mr. Face Meat's favorite style. So it's like, Oktoberfest benchmark, my favorite beer in the world. Let's see, it shouldn't be too hard to find. Oh yeah, Ian, you can definitely get your hands on that stuff for sure. I wouldn't doubt that style of beer is something you can get your hands on. But let's see here. Yeah, ratings for the global ratings seem pretty good. Decent amount of 3.75s, decent amount of 4s and 4.25s. Got a couple 3.5s on there. But with all that being said, let's start trying to figure out what we're going to be doing for ratings over here on our end with this guy. I think I poured the rest of it into the glass already. Just a couple drops left to pour in. But the first thing we like to look at over here is can art. And Imperial Oak always has a really cool styles when it comes to their can art. Sometimes they do a lot of details. Sometimes they keep it a little bit simplistic, but still keep it eye-catching. And this one, definitely has a lot of detail in it, being it like, of course they're keeping like German kind of themes with this one, because you can see like monks holding a glass of beer, but then you kind of got the carriage right there with some like elves or different like woodland creatures with the monks and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's a decent amount of detail. I like the holographic kind of background in it to kind of have it eye-catching. Let's see. Okay, I could see why they maybe did with the animal kind of look, because with it being German malts and all that kind of stuff, there's a logo of like a goat right there. So I wonder if they kind of made the creatures on here kind of goat-like. I know there's a ram right there with horns. So overall, the amount of detail they put into this can art is absolutely fantastic. I definitely am a fan of this one. This is something that I would kind of expect to see from a Droid Theory. Just if it was a Droid Theory, it would definitely be a little more gory, maybe somebody getting impaled by something or whatever like that. But yeah, can art is really, really clean on this one. Definitely, I would put this in the category of being can art that I would save. Plus, Imperial Oak's logo is probably one of my favorites, just because you get the tulip like goblet style glass, but the goblet style glass is like roots in the tree kind of situation, forming the look of a glass, and the Imperial font on there is just really, really nice. Overall, can art is outstanding on this one. I'm a really, really big fan of the detail. Definitely something that's eye-catching if I saw it at a liquor store or bottle shop. So I'd probably give this an easy, like, I'll give it a 4.75 out of 5. Really, really cool. But let's see here. If I got this beer in a flight over at Imperial Oak, let's see if I went over to Imperial Oak in the next couple of days and they had this on tap over there. If I got in a flight, would I get another one? Absolutely. Big fan. Love the flavors. If it was kind of getting the more fall season, this would be more of an opportunity for me to get have another one of these, just because it feels like I'm getting into the fall kind of season. Having Marzans, the Hellas Lagers, and the Bocks and the Maibock and all that kind of stuff. So this definitely fits the boat of something that I would drink during the falls, and it's delicious. Absolutely delicious. This is definitely one that I'd probably have a 4-pack at home just to kind of casually drink, just because it's not too high in ABV. Definitely something I can drink a few of and still be okay. So this would one that would be a definitely fall season keep in the fridge for sure. So with that being said, I think my final rating on this guy, I'm going to give it an 8.25, almost like I would say 8.25 is probably where I'm going to give it. Absolutely delicious. If you can get your hands on this one, I don't know if anybody's in the Illinois area. I'm not 100% sure if Imperial Oak does like distribution and all that kind of stuff. I know they're still pretty small, only having 2 locations, but I know they have cans available at the tap houses with either the Willow Springs or the Brookfield location. I'm just not 100% sure if they distribute to where they can be found in liquor stores or bottle shops within the Chicagoland area. They might be. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe the owner will eventually see this and kind of clear things up in the chat or not. Or in the comments below, you'll be able to find out if this stuff is either distributed within the Chicagoland area or not. But overall, an absolutely another fantastic beer from Imperial Oak. Haven't really been disappointed yet by them. And I'm always looking forward to try some other stuff from the crew over there, because they're really nice people making some really fantastic beers. So great job with them. Another delicious beer from Imperial Oak. So big shout outs to the team over there. But other than that, yeah, I think that's pretty much what I got for you guys today. So thank you everybody in the chat for hanging out. You guys are awesome. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button. It would help me out a lot. And also, I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers before the end of the year. So if you have any friends that are looking to kind of getting some beer content, or maybe having some friends looking for something new to watch on YouTube, send my stuff their way, see if it interests them. But who knows? I might be able to get to 500 by the end of the year. That's what I'm hoping for. Because it's weird, because my viewership's been going up on the past couple of videos, but my subscriber count has gone down a little bit by like 2 subscribers. I'm like, I don't know. It's just weird. I'm keeping track of that stuff. Hopefully we see some changes soon, or that now that I'm kind of being able to do more reviews, not as crazy busy when it comes to work. So I'm able to knock out more reviews for you guys. But overall, let's see here. If you want to shoot me a follow on all my social media platforms, that's where you can see what I'm doing. Of course, you got my Instagram when it comes to seeing what beers I'm going to review. I do hand checks daily of what beers I'm going to be reviewing that day. And then, of course, you can see what shenanigans I'm doing over at Fibs, which is either I'm making beer, kegging, all that kind of stuff. So you can just see what I'm doing over there. But, of course, you can also shoot me a friend request on Untapped. You guys hear me talk about Untapped all the time. It's a fantastic platform. I'm just a really, really big fan. I like to call it Facebook for beer drinkers. It's simple, easy to use. You can check in beers, get badges, all that kind of stuff. You can see people like me, Ian, Duchess, Face Meat, Wintucky's on there, Freedom Issues on there, Sean and Lizzie, the Typhons are on there. Just a bunch of people from the little community that we're all involved in. Drinking beers, checking them in, getting badges, all the kind of stuff. It's just a really, really fun time over there. So if you have not shot me a friend request on Untapped yet, link to my profile is down in the description below. But of course, last thing I'm going to talk about before we get the hell out of here is going to be the best way for you to support me if you wanted to, where I do have a Patreon available if anybody didn't know about it. You guys have seen me do monthly craft beer giveaways going over Illinois exclusive craft beer. Try to get people stuff in their hands that they normally can't get their hands on. If you join the Patreon, depending on what tier you join, you'll have better opportunities to win because you'll get more entries into the raffle. So if you want to support me, Patreon is going to be the best way to do so. Once we get more people in there, I'm going to start working on a Discord, maybe getting some merch, glassware, all the kind of stuff going to have people get their hands on that stuff if they're in the Patreon. But yeah, that's going to be the main place where you can support me because that's going to help me get more beer in my hands. And of course, help me get more beer out to you guys as well if you join. So that is going to be the best way to kind of help me out and get my kind of stuff, the ball rolling a little bit further. So Patreon is going to be the best way to do it. But other than that, yeah, I think that's pretty much what I got for you guys today. So again, thank you everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are awesome. Thank you everybody who's going to be watching the replay. You guys are amazing as well. And I'm going to end this like I always do before we get the hell out of here. If you're going to drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And I'll see you all next time. Cheers.